Okay, so I have something for you today that's I'm considering completely messed up. Now, it's great that the UK is acknowledging that they stole things from Ghana, but the way they're going about rectifying it is just messed up. They are loaning Ghana its own artifacts. Why not just give it to them? It belongs to them. You want to have the artifacts too? Then let Ghana loan it to you for a while, as opposed to the other way around. But let's just get to the article. So, two of the UK's leading national museums are set to loan back a selection of artifacts taken from Ghana over 100 years ago. And that sentence just totally messed up. If you stole it, why are you loaning it back to the original owners? Give it back to them permanently. It's not that hard. The Victoria and Albert Museum, V&A, and the British Museum have signed a loan agreement to return 32 items of royal regalia. Most of the pieces will be seen in Ghana for the first time in 150 years, which is great. The V&A will lend 17 items. I still hate that lending. While the British Museum will send 15 pieces under the 3-year loan deals, with an option to extend for the same amount of time, the BBC has reported. So at most they can have them for 6 years. Items that were looted from them over 100 years ago, but they get to enjoy them for 6 years. The hell? Just give them the damn items. If you want to keep it in your museum as well, make fakes. I mean, they've been doing that for a long time. This shouldn't be hard. This is what the objects that we stole from Ghana over 100 years ago would look like. This isn't the real thing because, well, we actually realized that we should give back the shit we stole. Wow. So generous. The items were taken during wars in the 19th century between the UK and the Asante, including a ceremonial cap decorated with gold ornaments, a sword of state, gold badges worn by officials, and a gold peace pipe. A joint statement by the BM and VA, which is British Museum, and VA, which is the what did I say? Victoria and Albert. My God. Museum acknowledges that the objects seized had cultural, historical, and spiritual significance to the Asante people. The seizures are also indelibly linked to British colonial history in West Africa. And that's their reasoning for just loaning it. Because the British people should be able to see the actual items that Britain stole from West Africa. I'm pretty sure that the British people wouldn't feel so bad if you just gave them replicas or pictures. I'm sure that they would be fine with that. Just let the Asante have their shit back. It's really not hard. The Ghanaian loan deal was agreed with Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the current Asante king known as the Asantehene. And I hope I didn't completely butcher that. The items will reportedly go on display at the Manhaya Palace Museum in Kumasi, the capital of the Asante region, to celebrate the Asantehene Silver Jubilee. And it's great that they're giving them back for at that time, but still, How about giving it back to them permanently? It's their stuff. Tristan Hunt, director of the V&A, said the gold items taken from the court of the Asante king are the equivalent of our crown jewels. And yet you're just loaning it to them as opposed to just permanently giving it back. How the hell can you... Oh my god, the cognitive dissonance must be painful. Hunt also said when museums hold objects with origins in war and looting in military campaigns, we have a responsibility to the countries of origins to think about how we can share those more fairly today. How about giving them back to the places you looted them from? And let them decide if you can actually have the originals for a short amount of time. Why are you loaning it to the owners? This makes no sense. I'm sure that I'm going to see somewhere in this article that somehow the people of Ghana wouldn't be able to keep it safe because racism or something. The issue is that some national museums in the UK, including the V&A and the British Museum, are banned by law from de-accessorizing items in their collections. Okay, now that makes sense. It's a fucked up law, but okay, that makes sense. I.e., permanently giving back contested items in their collections. Loan deals like the historic deal with Ghana are seen as a way to allow objects to return to their countries of origin. However, a recurring agreement is that loans imply the UK's ownership of disputed artifacts. What would happen if Ghana just didn't give them back? I'm genuinely curious. Could Ghana just say, you know what, we made this agreement, but we're not giving them back because they're ours? Seriously, what is Britain gonna do? Go to war over that? Actually, I shouldn't give them ideas. This government might actually do that. Hunt is advocating a change in the law, good, and has stated that he would like to see more freedom for museums, but then a kind of backstop, a committee where we would have to appeal if we wanted to restitute items. Is that even a word? Okay. Some see any change in this regard as a direct threat to British museums and fear that these institutions would lose some of their prized items. Well, just because your culture, are you saying your culture sucks? That you guys don't have anything worth showing off? Because seriously, if all your prized items were stolen, that is a what's the word? That is on you. That says a lot more about you than it does anybody else. If the British Museum ceases to exist because they don't have anything worth displaying, then again, that's on you. There is plenty of cultural history in Britain. Skeletons are being uncovered of late kings, medieval kings, famous kings. There is plenty you can put there. You do not need to steal from other people. I mean, that's just an indictment on you. So if you think that the only cool stuff in the British Museum is stuff we stole, that doesn't say a lot about you. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about the British culture because they do have plenty of culture. But if you think the only cool stuff is the stuff you stole, I mean, hell, even This might explain why King Charles only, instead of giving back the crown jewels, which is ironic that this guy said, this is like the UK's crown jewels. Well, not really, because those were stolen too. Maybe not all of them, but the famous ones, I think, were. So if you're telling me that everything that you have was stolen, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Maybe do a better job of improving your culture. I honestly don't know what to tell you. But saying that our culture sucks unless we show off the stuff we stole, that just basically says that you don't have a good culture of your own. And yeah, like I said, make fakes. So the British Museum will still have items to display. It's just not the originals. I don't see how that's a bad thing. That way people can see this isn't the original, but this was the stuff we stole and kept for over 100 years because we don't have a culture to show off of our own. I honestly don't know what else to say. Still, while the Ghana loan has been largely applauded, there is still a long way to go. As many countries continue to seek the reparation of their treasures, and the UK faced long-running reparation disputes. Yeah, just give it back. I don't even know why there's a law that says, oh, racism. The issue of the Parthenon marbles is one of the most publicized examples. Yeah, I'm trying to think. That wouldn't qualify as racism, would it? It would be narcissistic, but I don't think that would count as racism. Greece has long demanded the return of the 2,500-year-old frieze that was taken from Athens in the early 19th century by British diplomat Lord Elgin. The classical sculptures are displayed in the British Museum. Again, these are marbles. How hard is it to make a fake, keep those in the British Museum, and return the originals? I just don't see how that is so hard. If you want them that badly, then, either make a fake or ensure that your shitty reputations remain shitty and everyone hates you. Because, what the hell? Last year, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak escalated his war of words with the leader of Greece, accusing Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis of trying to grandstand over the disputed Parthenon marbles. Mitsotakis, meanwhile, said the dispute had helped draw international attention to Greece's long-standing claim to the artifacts. Well, exactly how I would expect a Tory prime minister to react. Because obviously Britain is a superior culture while at the same time not having a culture of its own except for stealing stuff. Am I getting that right? How can you say you're superior if you're like, oh, we're superior, so we're just going to keep all this looted stuff for ourselves? I still do not understand the logic here. Athens want them returned so they can be displayed alongside the rest of the Parthenon sculptures at a purpose-built museum in Athens, as it should be. The British Museum's Chair of Trustees, George Osborne, recently said they was looking for a practical, pragmatic, and rational way forward. Change the law? Let them give back shit that doesn't belong to them? And as I started to say, King Charles didn't use certain jewels in his coronation that were known to have been looted. He didn't give them back, but now I know why. I thought he was, it's like, why isn't he giving it back if he's not going to use them anymore? If he knows that it's wrong to use them. Now I know. There's a law that prevents it. Personally, I think that as king, he should be able to, gift them back to the king of Asante. And what can the British people do? What can Britain do? What can the government do against the king? He is technically the head of state. He should be able to give shit away. Same thing with the museums. Once it's loaned to Ghana, how would they get it back? Would they start a war? Seriously, how would they force Ghana to return these items after 3 or 6 years? I don't see how they can. They can't force Ghana to return them any more than Ghana was able to get them back all these years. I just don't see how that would be a bad thing. I would think that the international and most probably national sentiment would be on Ghana keeping their property. I mean, yeah, there's still plenty of support for the Tories. Those people who think that British culture sucks unless it's talking about all the cool stuff we looted. And I say we, I should say they. I'm not a part of this. I just don't understand, if it's theirs and the museums are willing to give them back, let them keep them. It's theirs to begin with. It is not Britain's property. Even though there's a law that says it, the law should be changed. And the heads of at least one of the museums agrees that it should go back and stay with the original owners, because we shouldn't keep stuff that we stole. But like I said, maybe they think they can do a better job of holding on to it because racism. But even if that's the case, it's still not your shit. Give it back. Change the law so they can keep it. Or, like I said, Ghana should just steal it back. Because, again, what is Britain going to do? I doubt they would declare war because Rishi Sunak has a tenuous grip on being prime minister. Doing that would just ensure that the Tories never saw the light of day ever again. So it's a win-win. So yes, steal it back or flaunt the law somehow. I do not care, but overturn the law. But give back these items to Ghana, to Greece. It's just so stupid. Especially since we live in an age where you can see things online. You do not even have to go to a museum anymore. A lot of museums have their pieces online. How is that any different than having a copy made and put in the museum? At that point, there is no difference. So, just give it back. But anyway, I think I've covered as much as I can on this topic. So I will see you guys in the next video.